Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live session with AskPb, our newest series to decode all things about insurance. अब आप लोग ये हमारी सीरीज इतने टाइम से देख रहे हैं तो आप लोग समझ ही गए होंगे कि AskPb है क्या. It's basically a platform where you can ask anything and everything about insurance, and our domain experts will solve your queries. Now, about today's session, we host this live every Friday at 4 p.m. So please mark your calendar. And we have a very special guest today. It's his first time on our show. Please welcome Mr. Mohit Vasudev. He's the business head of term insurance NRI at Policybazaar. Welcome to the show, Mohit.
Thank you, Simran, for inviting me. Great to be here.
So Mohit will be talking about term insurance from India for NRIs, and we'll get started with the show now. Everyone who has tuned in, guys, अगर आप लोगों के कोई भी सवाल है, if you have any queries related to the topic we are covering today, please feel free to send your questions in the chat box, and we'll be taking them up shortly. Now, Mohit, we'll be starting with the basics. How does term insurance for NRIs differ from regular term insurance policies? Are there any key differences that you would like to highlight?
By definition, Simran, term insurance is basically life cover that you opt for in order to secure your loved ones and your family.
Yeah.
And by virtue of that, the product in itself fundamentally has no difference. For NRIs or for resident Indians alike, the term insurance product is exactly the same. There may be limitations in terms of the amount of cover that can be offered. There are also benefits that NRIs can avail, which is not available to resident Indians. But as a product, there is no difference at all.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, what are some of the key benefits of opting for term insurance from India as an NRI?
See, when you're opting for term insurance as an NRI, and if you have an NRE account that you have at hand, and you use that to make a payment for these premiums, one, you get an additional 18% discount by means of a GST waiver, because you're not liable to pay GST on the product that you're purchasing.
Yeah.
The bigger thing here is that you will understand that most of the countries outside of India, the premiums are about 20 to 50% higher than what you get in India at the moment.
Yeah.
And this is predominantly basis the fact that geographies are different, the health facilities may be different, the pool is different, so multiple
Right.
factors go into that pricing. So people who are currently residing outside and are currently hold a PIO card or an OCI card or an NRI status can avail this benefit by purchasing a term plan from India.
Yeah.
The third benefit that an NRI will receive is that there is worldwide coverage. So irrespective of the country that you locate to, once a plan is approved, it is covered throughout the world. At Policybazaar, we also offer dedicated claim assistance. So if in case of an unforeseen event, your family or your loved ones need support in getting the claims done, we have dedicated claim assistance available. The process is really simple, which I can explain in detail later. But that is an additional benefit that you would receive as an NRI. So uh, definitely a lot of benefit in terms of the pricing of the product. And like I'd mentioned earlier, the features are exactly the same.
Right. Now we just spoke of the pricing points, Mohit. In continuation to that, how do insurance providers really determine the coverage and premiums for NRI insurance policies?
Like I mentioned, the product is no different.
Hmm.
Uh, at the time of pricing a product or providing a coverage, there are a couple of factors that go into it, which is your geography, your profile in terms of age, occupation, income, uh, and the kind of education level that you have, and the
Yeah.
kind of cover that you're allowed to opt for. Now,
Right.
for NRIs or resident Indians alike, these factors remain the same. As your profile and these factors change, you're eligible for a certain amount of cover. One point that I missed providing in the previous question, and I think this is specifically for NRIs, that while in India most of these plans are 100% medical
Hmm.
tests, physical medical tests
Hmm.
based. For NRIs, there are covers as high as 3.5 crores available basis a telephonic medical, which is a
Right.
simple phone call that you need to get onto with a doctor for about 15 minutes. So there is no hassle of going to a medical center. There is no additional cost involved. And unless and until there is an adverse declaration from the customer saying that he has an existing disease or has an existing ailment or medical condition, a physical medical may not be required at all for such high covers. Even if a physical medical is called for, there will be no costs that will be charged to the customer. So that is an additional benefit that NRIs receive when purchasing from India.
Right. Now, Mohit, what factors should NRIs consider when choosing the term length of their insurance policy?
See, term plans are usually opted to ensure, or basically bought to ensure that you are covering your liabilities,
Right.
while you have dependents in terms of your parents, your spouse, and your family. So the best time frame to opt for or cover up to age would be closer to about 70, 75.
Right.
Ideally, I would have suggested that you get covers up to 65, which is usually the retirement age for everybody, because that is the time that you're earning and you might have liabilities. And if you're earning till 65, in most cases, you have planned for your retirement by then. Um, the reason I said 70, 75 is that term product in India is now fairly evolved, and there is a great feature available called the zero cost term insurance feature.
Yes.
What that allows you to do is that beyond at the age of 60, 65 and beyond, and there are conditions of total cover that is being opted for here,
Right.
you can go back to an insurance company and terminate the plan and receive all the premiums that you have paid. So practically you are paying a premium for a term cover till, say in this example, till age 65. At 65 you can opt out of that cover, and all the premiums that you've paid till that point in time will be refunded back to you, and hence the term zero cost term insurance. So
Right.
it usually kicks in when the cover is greater than or upwards of 20 to 25 years.
Right.
Most of our customers today are closer to the age group of 30 to 35. And ideally, to manage all of this, the right age or the right cover up to age would be closer to 70 or 75, depending on your age. So
All right.
if and when you're looking at a term plan, please ask for this option,
Yeah.
and our advisor will be happy to help.
Yeah. Now, Mohit, my next question is, can NRIs purchase term insurance in the currency of their home country or the host country?
See, because it's an Indian product being sold in India, the pricing is basis INR. While
Yeah.
an NRI can pay using his international card or an international account, the conversion rates will apply because the end payment will be done in INR for the product.
All right. And what will happen to an NRI term insurance if the insured individual decides to return to their home country?
Like I mentioned earlier, there is worldwide coverage. So once your
Yeah.
plan is approved and is issued, irrespective of the country that you relocate to, India or a different country abroad, the policy terms and conditions are applicable and your cover stays as is. So that is nothing to worry about. What would be prudent to do is that you inform the insurance company about your relocation by means of an email or a telephonic call, so that they can update your current or correspondence address in
Yeah.
case they wish to send out any notification or any information to you.
Yeah. All right. And are there any specific tax implications that NRIs should be aware of regarding term insurance payouts?
All tax laws that are applicable in India are applicable on the insurance product sold in India. What that basically means is that you get benefit of ATC, you get benefit of 1010D on claim payout or maturity. The good thing is, as I mentioned, that given that NRIs are not liable to pay GST in case they purchase through an NRE account, in most cases this will be favorable for NRIs to purchase from India. The only exception to this could be if the country that they're residing in at the time of, say, a claim or
Yeah.
maturity, actually mostly claim, if they have an inheritance tax applicable as per the laws of that country. Now, that is not only applicable for an Indian plan, even if the customer would have bought, say, a term insurance plan outside of India and a
Yeah.
claim was made. If the inheritance tax is applicable, that implication would be the same irrespective of which plan it is. So
Or
as such, for an NRI in India, there is no separate tax implication. If at all, it is the benefit that they can avail of GST.
yeah. Now, Mohit, can NRIs designate nominees who decide outside their host country in their term insurance policy?
Absolutely. If your next of kin, if your spouse or a family member or somebody in a blood relation resides in a different country, that is fair. I mean, that does not change. You cannot have a friend being nominated. To kind of explain this better, if say I am nominating my parents as my nominee,
Hmm.
uh, and I am hypothetically living in Dubai at the moment or Singapore at the moment, and my parents are in India or say in Australia or in US or wherever. That does not change anything.
Okay,
So I am free to have a nominee outside of the country where I am living.
okay. Mohit, you mentioned that we have worldwide coverage here, right?
Yeah,
But what if the insured person moves to another country? Matlab, how does that process work? Do they have to declare it, or what happens?
that's a valid question, Suman. A lot of customers do talk about this because see, a lot of customers tend to go for education abroad, then settle there for a bit, and then move forward. Or some
Yeah,
of them are moving because of the way that their jobs are.
right.
So, like I said earlier, once an insurance plan is approved,
Yeah.
that the policy coverage stays as is. It is only prudent to inform the insurance company if you're changing countries so they can update their records accordingly. That is all that is required.
All right. And what options do NRIs have for renewing or extending their term insurance coverage once the policy term ends?
See, a lot of insurance plans abroad largely talk of a permanent life insurance where such options are available. Term insurance, by definition, is for a limited period. And that is exactly why we always recommend that you take a term insurance plan till your retirement age so that you can get your liabilities covered. Also, there are certain plans that allow you to extend your term for 5 years after the ending of the first term at a differential rate. You can always look at another term plan as well. But by definition, a term plan is for a stipulated period, and it is advisable to go for that period in the first go, which should ideally be till your age of retirement.
Okay. And are NRI term insurance premiums typically higher compared to policies for residents? And if your answer is yes, then what factors contribute to this?
The good thing is that my answer is no, Simran. There is no separate term plan for NRIs or Indians.
Right.
There is uniform pricing. It's the same product. And like I said, given all the benefits that I spoke of earlier, in reality, NRIs have the option of getting it at a lesser price than regular Indians because they're not liable to pay the GST.
Right. Now, can NRIs convert their term insurance policy into a permanent life insurance policy?
Just what I was mentioning earlier. See, permanent life insurance basically is of two types. One is a whole life insurance, the other is universal life insurance. Whole life insurance also, and as you may understand in other countries, will have a cash value attached to it. Now, what that means is that the insurance is applicable for as long as the person is alive, and it
Hmm.
terminates at the death of the person. So there is no stipulated age at which the contract will terminate. Unfortunately, term insurance plans do not operate the same way. You are getting into a contract till a cover up to age. And like I mentioned, post with certain insurance companies will allow you an option to extend it by 5 more years at a differential premium. Otherwise, you can always opt in for another term insurance plan as and when you decide to do so. The good thing about term insurance is that its premiums are significantly lower than when you compare it to a permanent life insurance. If
Hmm.
you just go back a couple of seconds when I said that there is a cash value attached to permanent life insurance, what that means is that if you're, say for instance, paying 1000 rupees as a premium for a permanent life insurance, a part of it is going to your actual life insurance. The remaining part is going to say an amount that is being used to derive a cash value for that policy. The returns on this amount, which ends up providing you that cash value, is significantly lower than what the returns of, say, a guaranteed plan would be. So, in reality, a permanent life insurance ends up being far more expensive than purchasing a term life insurance and investing that money into an instrument of your choice elsewhere. Also, um, only from a whole life perspective, term insurance also has a whole life option available, which covers you till the age of 99 or 100. That option is available. You can opt for it at the time of purchasing the policy. And the only difference in this case versus a permanent insurance is the cash value bit that I explained. But always remember, term insurance will always be significantly cheaper. And what I would recommend, this is my personal take on this, it is best to have a term life insurance which solves for your liabilities, and whatever additional amount that you were going to use in the permanent life insurance, you now have the freedom to choose an instrument of your choice and invest that money to grow in that instrument. So you're not bound to pay the premiums as is forever in a permanent life insurance, because there you might have a problem of the contract getting terminated in case you're unable to pay a premium beyond a certain age.
Right. Now, Mohit, how do currency exchange rates affect premium payments and policy payouts for NRIs?
That's a fair question. See, a lot of people will always debate that 2 crores in Indian currency today may look a decent amount, but
Yeah.
if rupee keeps depreciating against the dollar,
Yeah.
where will we end up, etc. But we are also getting that benefit at the time of paying the premium, if you look at it.
Correct.
See, like I mentioned earlier, that premiums are easily 20 to 50% cheaper in India as compared to other countries. And, in case you are looking, and actually fundamentally the whole purpose of term insurance is not to grow money. This is not a savings plan or investment plan where depreciating rupees should be a cause of concern. You're basically only trying to save up for an unforeseen event, which god forbid should not happen to anybody. But if it does, this particular amount will help your family fulfill their needs wherever you are abroad at that point in time. Say if you are the sole breadwinner for the family, it may help your family relocate back to India,
Yeah.
if they wish to, or get a fresh kickstart. See, because the idea of a term insurance plan is to ensure that there is a certain amount to take care of your liabilities and to support the family in case of an unforeseen event to you. Appreciating value comes into the picture when you're talking of savings or retirement or investment, because then you're saying that I am trying to put this money aside for my retirement, which I will use if in case once I am a certain age, and at that point in time I may need so much money. That is not the thought here.
Hmm.
And
All
like I
right.
also, you're taking that benefit at the time of paying premiums also. So
Yeah.
for somebody in India paying hypothetically 85 rupees today, you're paying $1.
Yeah. Now, Mohit, are NRI term insurance policies eligible for riders or additional coverage options like the ones that are available for Indian residents?
Absolutely, absolutely. Critical illness riders, accidental death benefit, waiver of premium on disability, term, early payout on terminal illness. All these rider options are available for NRIs, just like they're available for Indians. The only exception to this point is the fact that to some extent, these riders will again be available basis a telemedical limit. And when I say some extent, that is a sizable amount that I'm talking about. But say if you were to go for a 1 or 50 lakh critical illness rider, you may be required to undergo medical test. Other than that, the rider application is exactly the same as it is for Indians at the moment.
All right. Now, Mohit, we have a lot of questions pouring in from our viewers, but before we get into them, I have one last request.
Sure.
As a parting advice, what misconceptions about term insurance in general, or term insurance for NRIs, you would like to clarify? Some myths that you would like to bust?
I think three things that I would want to talk about.
Yeah.
The first being is the fact that it is a very different or a very difficult process to apply for a term insurance in India if you're an NRI. See, historically, you could only get a policy in India if you were physically present in India,
Hmm.
or by means of filling in a physical form and shipping it to India, which is no longer the case. Thanks to advancement technology, now the entire application process is online. Payments, including renewals, can be done over the internet by means of a card or auto debit, etc. And submission of all documents now happens online. You just need to scan your documents and upload. So that is the first thing. The process is as easy for an NRI as it is for an Indian today. Second is the fact that it is very, very difficult to get a policy approved. Like I had mentioned, document collection happens online for covers up to 3.5 crores, or in some cases even more. All that you need to do is get over a phone call with a doctor, and maybe at best do a verification, video verification for about 20 seconds, which again is done online. So getting a policy approval is fairly simple. Operationally, that is all solved for. The third being assistance and claims. See, what one of the biggest questions that is asked at the time of purchasing a term policy is, how will I get assistance for getting a claim settled? Because, like I said earlier, this is not something that you're doing for yourself. It is more for the people that will be there in case something were to happen to you. So the family only needs to pick up the phone, speak to the insurance company or to Policybazaar if we can be of assistance, or write an email. That is all that is required. You will be shipped with details around what all documents may be needed. And again, no physical copy would be required. For the most part, you just have to scan, send it over an email, and there is all types of assistance, and even the claims can be processed today. The claim settlement processes are as low as 4 hours. So if you have submitted all the documents, you can expect money to even hit your accounts in as little as 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Thank
much it.
you, Mohit. Thank you. We'll look at our comments now. So, Jeevan Kumar is saying, good initiative to educate people regarding insurance policies. Thank you, Jeevan. We are so glad we are able to do our bit in spreading awareness when it comes to insurance. Um, let's look at some of the questions. Okay, the first question is, any special plans for NRIs living in the States, as in the United States of America?
Special plans as such, I would not want to comment on it like that, but the top insurers available in India today uh, provide plans available for people living in the US.
Yeah.
Uh, the amount of cover that you can get and from what insurer is dependent on the customer's profile. I would need more clarity in terms of your age, your education, occupation, etc., to tell you what is an ideal cover and which all insurers can provide that cover to you. Other than that, for all NRIs, all top insurers are offering plans.
All right. The next question is, are premiums for NRI plans more affordable compared to international term plans?
Absolutely. For most countries, the premiums would be about 20 to 50% cheaper when it comes to purchasing a plan from that country versus purchasing it from India when it comes to NRIs.
All right. The next question is, how to get a GST refund for term insurance?
There are two primary conditions to getting a GST refund. One is that the payment has to be made using an NRE account,
Yeah.
and proof of payment along with the bank details needs to be submitted to the insurer. This amount will then be reimbursed back to your NRE account. So if you've not opted for a GST waiver, as I was mentioning earlier, a GST refund is always possible. The point that I was making earlier is that the way that the products are structured, we can always assist you get the premium waived off in the first place so that you do not have to go through this process. We will basically, for instance, if you were to pay say 100 rupees for an X cover, and you were able to confirm that you have an NRE account and you'll be making a payment using their NRI account, we can have you pay 82 rupees and submit the documents to the insurer on your behalf so that you don't have to wait for a refund.
All right. The next question is, do I, being an NRI, need to be here in India when buying a term plan for my parents? Now, I think there are two conditions here. या तो आपके पेरेंट्स इंडिया में होंगे या फिर बाहर होंगे. तो मोहित, maybe you can address both the situations.
If your parents are abroad, well, it is like buying a term plan for an NRI, as is the case. If the parents are
Yeah.
in India, it is, again, in either case, you can just go online and we can help you purchase a plan. The question here would be is, and this would need some more amount of detail. Please understand that, like I was mentioning earlier, term plans are bought to cover for liabilities for which it is necessary that it is a replacement of a source of income. Term plans usually are only offered to people who have a source of income. So if your parents are earning, uh, then I'm sure they can buy a term plan irrespective of them being in India or abroad, as long as they have some proof of them being connected to or being a citizen of India. That is as easy as it is. So there's no difference if they're situated in India or abroad. The only thing is if they are eligible to get a term plan, and you can help them purchase it from anywhere.
Yeah. Thank you, Mohit. I think that's a wrap on today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mohit, and thank you so much to everybody else who tuned in. We hope you found the session useful. If you have any further queries, please go to the link in our description box. Please go to AskPb and leave all your queries there, and our experts will get back to you. And if
Thank
you
you so
liked
much.
today's session, thank you, Mohit. And if you liked today's session, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will see you next Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.